the tragic shootings of Minnesota lawmakers, the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary parade, and a ranking of America's best school districts. And here's today's trivia question. What two food items can be sent through the U.S. mail without any packaging? I don't know you could send things without a package, so I am very interested to find out the answer to this one. It's Sunday, June 15th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Good morning and welcome to the Flyover. If you are used to watching the Flyover podcast, you might notice I'm not in the studio this morning. I was having a bit of some technical difficulties with the camera, so today you get audio only. I'm Ayla Brown, and it's been fun filling in for Amy Hess last weekend and this weekend as well. Before we get into today's headlines, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that it's Father's Day. So to all the dads out there showing up with love, patience, and quiet strength, thank you. Today's for you. And for those of you who may be grieving a loss, navigating distance, or carrying the weight of a complicated relationship with your dad, you're seen too. Father's Day can hold a lot of different emotions, and however you're feeling today, you're not alone. But let's take off with the biggest headlines of the day. A manhunt is underway in Minneapolis suburbs after a gunman posing as a police officer fatally shot Minnesota State Rep. Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, and wounded State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, early Saturday. The suspect, identified as 57-year-old Vance Bolter, a private security consultant, attacked the lawmakers' homes in Champlin and Brooklyn Park, about 8 miles apart. Hortman, former House Speaker, and Hoffman, a Democrat, were targeted in what Governor Tim Walz calls it a, quote, politically motivated assassination. Bolter, who fired at police after being spotted at Hortman's home with a fake police SUV, fled on foot, leaving a list of over 50 targets, including Democrats and abortion rights activists. A shelter-in-place order covers Brooklyn Park's Edinburgh Golf Course area, with police warning residents to verify lone officers via 911. The U.S. Army marked its 250th anniversary Saturday with a $30 million parade in Washington, D.C. It featured 6,600 soldiers, 150 vehicles, and 50 aircraft, despite rain and No Kings protests against President Trump's immigration policies. Hundreds of thousands attended, undeterred by nationwide demonstrations in all 50 states. The No Kings website urged de-escalation, but Minnesota protests were canceled after the lawmaker shootings, with No Kings flyers found in suspect Bolter's car. President Trump, celebrating his 79th birthday, praised the parade, warning protesters of, quote, heavy force. Adlai E. Stevenson High School District Number 125 in Lincolnshire, Illinois, topped NATIO's 2025 ranking of America's best school districts. It evaluated over 11,000 districts, the list favoring New York, Illinois, California, and upper Midwest states scored districts on academics, teacher quality, extracurriculars, college prep, and administration. Other top districts include Scarsdale in New York and Palo Alto in California. So if you're listening to the podcast from any of these locations, comment in the comment section. Are they really the best schools? Today's episode is powered by Fatty 15. Aging isn't just about getting older, it's about what's happening inside your cells. Scientists know that a lack of C15, an essential fatty acid newly discovered after 90 years, can lead to something called cellular fragility syndrome that affects your energy, sleep, joints, pretty much everything. Fatty 15 is here to change that. It's vegan, science-backed, and developed with help from the U.S. Navy. You can start feeling better in just weeks and get 15% off when you go to fatty15.com/flyover15 and use the code flyover15 or click on the link in the description below. It's time for Podcast Extra. Here are some bonus stories just for listeners of the Flyover Podcast. A lightning strike on Torrey's Peak in Colorado prompted the highest altitude helicopter rescue in state history. A hiker was critically injured, and the extreme conditions made the operation particularly challenging for the Colorado National Guard. The rescue occurred at over 14,200 feet, testing the limits of helicopter performance in thin air and dangerous weather. Officials warn of increasing lightning risks in high alpine environments like that. Next, Irish golfer Shane Lowry was caught on a hot mic during a disastrous round at the U.S. Open, launching into a expletive-laced tirade after a series of poor shots. Frustration boiled as he struggled to find his form, drawing attention to his on-course behavior rather than the performance. The viral clip has sparked debate on sportsmanship and live broadcast etiquette. I can't say what Shane said. Let's just hope there were no kids around during that moment watching the television. And San Antonio's deadly flash floods have now claimed at least 12 lives, with the Bexar County Medical Examiner identifying 4 additional victims. Torrential rain overwhelmed the city's infrastructure, causing sudden inundations that trapped vehicles and swept away pedestrians. Officials continue search and recovery efforts while urging residents to remain cautious amid further rain forecasts. That's your Podcast Extra Roundup. Tune in every day for more exclusive stories just for you. Coming up, a California aviation company is building a factory in North Carolina. And your weekend finance update. In finance, imports through the Port of Los Angeles fell 19% in May of 2025 compared to April, totaling 716,619 20-foot equivalent units. That is down 9% year over year. President Trump's 145% tariffs on Chinese goods imposed in April led retailers like Walmart to cancel orders, with container bookings from China down 45% by mid-April. A temporary tariff reduction to 30% in June eased some pressure, but 2025 volumes are projected to remain low. The port, handling a third of U.S. containerized trade, faces further declines as China's retaliatory tariffs hit U.S. exports like soybeans. JetZero, a California-based aviation startup, announced a $4.7 billion investment to build a factory in Greensboro, North Carolina, at Piedmont Triad International Airport, creating over 14,500 jobs by 2036. The facility will produce the Z4, which is a blended-wing body jet with 50% better fuel efficiency, targeting commercial service by 2030 with United and Alaska Airlines as investors. The state offered $1.1 billion in incentives and $450 million for infrastructure. The Dow dropped 1.8% on Friday after Israel's Operation Rising Lion airstrikes on Iran's nuclear and military sites, which raised fears of a wider conflict. The S&P 500 fell 1.4% and Nasdaq dropped 1.6%, with oil prices spiking 6% to $73 per barrel. U.S. stock futures slid 1.4 to 1.8% overnight as Iran launched 100 missiles in retaliation. Here's what's going on in sports. The Edmonton Oilers hosted the Florida Panthers in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final yesterday. The Panthers took home the win. Final score was 5-2. Sam Burns shot a third-round 69 at the U.S. Open on Saturday, taking a one-shot lead into today's final round at 4 under par. UCLA defeated Murray State 6-4, and LSU beat Arkansas 4-1 as both teams won their opening games of the 2025 College World Series yesterday. And lastly, the Indiana Fever reached a 500 record with a 102-88 win over the previously undefeated New York Liberty on Saturday, marking the Liberty's first loss of the season. Standout Caitlin Clark had been out with a quad strain since May 26th, but yesterday she led the Fever with 32 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds, while Kelsey Mitchell added 22. On X, LeBron James wrote, "The CC effect. Welcome back. You were missed." The teams will face off again July 16th and July 22nd in New York. Don't forget you can catch all of the college baseball World Series standings, the results of the PGA Tour, and the NHL Stanley Cup playoff results by going to the email edition of the Flyover. Some of the most clicked stories from this week's email edition of the Flyover include chilling footage of Air India Flight 171 crashing into Ahmedabad, killing 241 out of the 242 people on board. Meanwhile, fashion got prehistoric with $110 moss-accented shoes that look straight out of the Flintstones. And for car lovers, Ford unveiled its 2026 Mustang FX package, bringing back bold Fox body vibes from the 80s and 90s. You can catch your full Sunday rewind at jointheflyover.com. Still to come, headlines to round out the weekend, including a quick tip to maintain long-term brain health. Here are some quick headlines to round out your Sunday. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke for 50 minutes on Saturday, with Putin criticizing Israel's preemptive strike on Iran and wishing President Trump a happy birthday. The call comes amid rising global tensions, with both leaders trying to shape international reactions to the conflict. The Democratic National Committee is reeling after leaked audio revealed DNC Chair Ken Martin calling 25-year-old Vice Chair David Hogg's $20 million PAC plan to primary Democrats disloyal. Hogg resigned Wednesday, citing disagreements over his role after a DNC vote to redo his election due to gender diversity rule violations. A new public art piece in London is turning heads. A 4-story Georgian-style building appears to crumble like paper, warping reality in the heart of the city. The illusion sculpture is drawing crowds and a lot of social media buzz near Covent Garden. I've actually seen the pictures, and it kind of looks like a brick wave. You can check them out for yourself in today's email edition. And good news for dog lovers, the Denali Sled Dog Kennel's seasonal puppy cam, well, it is live, letting viewers watch future sled racers grow and play and eat in real time. These pups will eventually be part of Alaska's legendary mushing teams, trained by rangers in Denali National Park. And a top neurologist says he does one thing every day to maintain long-term brain health, and he recommends it for everyone. The habit, a brisk 20-minute walk to boost circulation, reduce stress, and stimulate neuroplasticity. Here's the results to yesterday's poll question. Have any members of your family served in the U.S. Army? 64% said yes. 17% said another branch, 13% said no, and 6% said I did. Oh, thanks to all the people who raised their hand and voted and said I did. Thank you for your service to all branches. And here's the poll question for today. Which could you give up for a week? Your phone or coffee? There's 4 different ways you can vote. Phone, coffee, neither, or I could do both. Well, I will tell you, for me, there is no way I would be able to give up both, let alone one. So my answer for this is going to be neither. And I don't know about you, but I've been thinking about this trivia question the entire show. The question is, what 2 food items can be sent through the U.S. mail without any package? The answer, potatoes and coconuts. All you have to do is write the address that you're sending it to right on the spud or the coconut as per the U.S. Postal Service instructions. I am shocked by that. I mean, raise your hand if you would want to send someone a potato in the mail. I would. Anyways, look at that. We made it through not one, but 2 Sundays together. I've really enjoyed filling in on the weekends with you. It has been the best part of my morning. Don't forget, share the Flyover podcast with someone new. Don't forget to rate the show and only give it 5 stars. And happy Father's Day. Thanks for flying with us.